Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Alana here. Welcome back to 3 Degrees of Love Divination. So, I wanted to do a video today, and it's not a video that I guess it's something that I pre-planned or anything like that. Actually, there's been several different videos that and ideas that I've kind of been sort of fluctuating and stuff like that. And of course, doing my first tag with my beloved friend Rev Neat of Winds of Reflection. Of course, it wasn't necessarily my first attempt at a tag, tarot tag, of course, but it was one that I guess seemed to be more of what I understand to be tarot tag standards, if you will. So if you haven't seen that out, please check it out. It is on my channel right now. It's called hashtag a tarot revolution, sorry. Yeah, so, you know, doing that tag was something that I felt very inspired to do, considering, you know, I am a mental health advocate, you know, healing, therapy, tarot, introspection, all of that kind of stuff is my thing, things that I enjoy doing, but also professionally speaking, you know, coming out from my own healing journey. Well, I say coming out of my own healing journey, but really it's an ongoing process. But it's just, when I say that, you know, as rocky as it's been over the last several years, and even over the last several weeks, I would say, you know, lots of different revelations and ideas and sort of feelings of stagnancy that seem to sort of be reflowing, if you will, in a sort of way. Pretty much, in other words, what I've been going through is a massive purge, which I think is emotional, mental purge, if you will. And I think a lot of my understanding too, even from, you know, chatting with friends and things like that, you know, who are on their own healing journey, because of what's sort of been going on in the world and planetary alignments, and we just coming out of Mercury retrograde, which I think we're still in the post shadow, if you will. We had the full moon in Aquarius, you know, so a lot of sort of shifts within the collective that has been going on, and depending on, you know, your sensitivity, you know, you were probably feeling it more than others, excuse me. And I know that in this past week I have definitely been feeling it, but I want to say that I've also recognized that there's the shift feels hopeful. There's a certain level of lightness that seems to have emerged, if you will, so to speak. And, you know, as I continue to, you know, to build and grow and heal and all of that, and, you know, sort of reflect on the things in regards to that I'd like to do, and, you know, sort of professionally speaking, and even, you know, where my channels are concerned, you know, just finished doing another a great discussion on the spiritual void from A to Z channel, my collab channel that I've been doing with Lilly from Organic to the Nova Scotia's Organic to the Land Stories, excuse me, and of course with our beloved friend Ravneet over at Winds of Reflection. So of course we were talking over there about linguistics and the linguistics of our lives and how it's evolved, over time, especially with the English language and stuff like that. So if you haven't seen that video, please go check that out as well. And so, as I've been sort of reflecting and things like that, and sort of, where I hope to progress in regards to content on my channel. I know that even prior to my latest video, there was a little bit of a hiatus that sort of went on from what I had considered my sort of newly consistent posting schedule, if you will, which I wouldn't really say that I have like a strict, solid schedule where that is concerned. I like to just sort of go with the flow and whatever inspires me. I find that when I structure things too much, and I think especially when it comes to the fact that I have a very sort of perfectionist sort of streak, and being neurodivergent, things like analysis paralysis and rumination on particular things tend to come up. And even when it comes to performing certain tasks that I may have, it's like I was also finding that my mind and my body, and due to trauma and burnout rather, have not been operating on the same speed, if you will, and that has been rather difficult to navigate, since sort of dealing with all of that. And but like I said, I feel like there has been a shift for me, and in regards to sort of my mind and my body sort of now getting into more alignment with one another, and at least it's a start in the right direction that I'm very happy and grateful for. So anyways, like I said, I just wanted to chat with you guys about a few things where that was concerned. I've actually put away a few decks since the time, and I didn't get a chance to actually go through my current working decks with you like I had wanted to prior to my latest video. And like I was saying, I know I veered off a little bit, but in regards to sort of why I kind of had been a little bit on a hiatus, other than, of course, all of what I just said had been going on. But also, I think, too, with Mercury retrograde, and, of course, me doing, guest lives on friends' channels and, doing some collab videos and things like that. I guess, too, with it being Mercury retrograde, there was a lot of mishaps with technology. And, of course, that's typical for Mercury retrograde, as we all know. And especially, for those that are more spiritually inclined and sort of to that sense of, and diving into astrology and planetary alignments and all of that stuff, you understand, what that's about. But they're, sort of navigating all of those things, like I said, and then also trying to deal with the technology mishaps, that has sort of put I guess a damper for me on my spirits, and me sort of, because again, technology and things like that, all of this stuff is not really my forte. I'm more of sort of old school, old soul type of person, where that is concerned. So, and I kind of sort of always had been. And so even with my last video with my tarot tag that I did with Ravneet, we had initially thought about doing a live, and but because of all the issues that we were having during our lives, I was like, I didn't want us to be having like a sort of one-sided sort of conversation where that was concerned, to do a live, considering how some of our previous lives had gone. So I opted to doing things sort of back the way that I was accustomed doing it, and that is filming it first via Zoom, and then editing, going through the editing process to upload it. Wow. At the time of filming, while we were on the Zoom call, it was great. Audio was, seemed to be working and was fine. Even during the editing process, which the editing process at the end of it, when I was ready to publish the video, that was a whole nother thing. Anyways, that, took the course of over, a couple of weeks to sort of figure out with the editing software and the company itself. But then I managed to be able to do that and get it published, but only now to realize that once I've published it and I've uploaded the video, and during the premiere, you could hardly hear Ravneet. And, and that was a shame, and a very disappointing shame, because I really enjoyed our discussion. I really enjoyed, the topic. And I hope, I was able to hear it on my end, at least while it was during the premiere. But, I know for some that may not have been the case. And so I want to apologize for that, even to Ravneet, because, that really sucks. And that's sort of really disappointing. Like I said, I was able to still hear it, and I think maybe because of I have different means of watching it, and so for me, I sort of, when I watched it on my streamed it on my TV, I was able to hear Ravneet just fine, as long as I raised the volume up enough that it was audible. So I'm not sure for everyone how that went, and please let me know, share with me your feedback, but still, that the tag and that video really meant a lot to me in doing it, because like I said, I found in my journey with working with tarot, I have found tarot to be very much, tarot and oracle, well, divination rather, to be very helpful on my healing journey, and especially for me, combining that with therapy, it has really, I guess, enhanced things for me where that is concerned. And so because I've been learning that, wanting to share that with all of you. So, so anyways, so with that, like I said, I wanted to share with you guys what my current working decks were at the time. And even though prior to that video, the decks that I was currently working with and had plans to show you, not every one of them is still in rotation. I have since put away a few. But we're going to look at what I currently have in rotation now. Some of which you may have already seen, some of which you probably won't. So let's start, and I might even pull a card here or two. We'll see. So first off, that I have, and I don't know if I've made mention to this deck yet or not. But this is a newer deck, and while working, if you haven't seen the unboxing of Tarot of Hearts that I've done on that I did with my friend Ravneet over on her channel, please go check that out. That was a really fun experience to go through that entire deck, the Tarot of Hearts, by Isabel Hayes, and so yeah. What you would have also seen is in that video, the unboxing of Tarot of Hearts that I did with Ravneet, there was a part 2 and a part 3, sort of, but that was because of technical difficulties, why there ended up being a part 3. It was really only supposed to be 2 parts. But anyways, we did end up getting a chance to pair the deck, and we worked with Dirt Gems. So Dirt Gems with the Tarot of Hearts, and just how the two sort of spoke together, was fabulous. So in and around that time, while using Dirt Gems and the Tarot of Hearts, I had managed to pick up, and I started working with the the Cosmic Magic Oracle. And now this is a deck that I had seen when it first came out, and thought, oh yeah, that looks beautiful, and I would love to do it. Well, but another deck, okay, on the wish list. But then see how it's just funny how how we're both are, and I say both, I mean we in the tarot community, how we're just a bunch of excited people who love tarot and oracle and using divination, but we are quite a rambunctious bunch, if you will, in the sense of loving to enable each other. Sorry, not sorry. But anyways, this beautiful deck is a off of a Priscilla Made Me Do It. My lovely friend Priscilla over at Priscilla's Tarot Corner. She had picked up the deck, and I had seen a few of the cards, and immediately fell instantaneously with the deck. And then, of course, so from there, with the decks, like I said, Dirt Gems and with Tarot of Hearts that I had been working with at the time, this sort of just slid perfectly right in. And so even though I've put away Dirt Gems and Tarot of Hearts already, I'm still working with the Cosmic Magic Oracle by Valerie Tejada. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm sure I'm butchering that. But anyways, please forgive me. And of course, this is a Hay House publication. And yeah, so I have been loving this deck, and of course, it's a lot to do with the guidebook as well. So of course, as you know on this channel, and I do talk about it, like I have already, even in this video, talking about therapy and tarot, and sort of going through those themes. So this is another deck that I feel sort of works very well in sort of that premise, because of the guidebook and how reflective I feel like the guidebook is in adjacent with the cards. So for example, I'm just opening the book to card 12, which happens to be Pisces intuition. But you'll see here that it gives you the summary, but then here we have, when you pull the Pisces card in a reading, reflect on the following. And so there are journal prompts, basically, for their self-reflection. And of course, for those of you who have been to therapy, that's sort of reflection, and sort of talking through things with said other person, to give you feedback on things to reflect on and stuff like that. That's of course that's a licensed therapist or psychiatrist or psychologist, whatever you may be reaching out to, where that is concerned. And of course, if you, at any time, I always say, if you are struggling with mental health concerns, please make sure to reach out for professional help. And always on my channel, in the description box, you'll always find resources to and most of my videos, you will always find resources, as limiting as they may be, down in the description box below. And of course, feel free to contact me if you have any questions or would like further guidance on how to access, certain services, where you may be. By all means, please feel free to do so. I am still a registered social worker, and even though I may not necessarily be able to practice in the traditional sense, I still rely on those professional skills and knowledge to be able to assist where I can. So, and like I said, sort of developing my own sort of personal divination practice, I'm sort of coming from that mindset to blend the two aspects of healing together, where that is concerned. So yeah, so that's why I really like I said, I really like the guidebook on this. So it has like the reflection questions here. So one, when was the last time I listened to my intuition, and what was the outcome? 2, what are some synchronicities that I've noticed lately? 3, how do I feel in my body when my intuition is trying to tell me something? And how can I pay more attention to this when that feeling arises? So I love those really in-depth introspective questions to really, sort of get those reflective juices flowing, if you will. So yeah, and like I said, pairing this with those two decks has been absolutely wonderful. And we'll just take a quick sort of flip through of the cards. Here we have Scorpio 8 transformation. Of course, I'm still using this deck, so it's obviously not in order. We have Mars 17 action. So very much, astrologically inclined, where that is concerned. And also, very botanical as well in the imagery. So Uranus, Black Moon Lilith, so you can see it's got that sort of very line, sort of black card, sort of whitish line work, but loads of color, bursts of color on the card as well. So, full moon celebration, release last quarter, Libra 7 balance. So you know what? I'm gonna, rather than go through the whole deck, I'm just going to go ahead and shuffle this so that we can pull a card for the collective today. Using the Cosmic Magic Oracle, what messages do we have for the collective today? Spirit, guardian angels, what do we have for the collective today? What messages do we need to receive for our highest and greatest good? Okay. All right. Okay, so the one card that fell out is 36. So 9, wish fulfillment. And of course I'm getting 9 because I'm adding up 36, 3 plus 6, 9. So, you know, numerology, where that's concerned, 9, you know, sort of reaching cycles, ending and wrapping up cycles, and to begin anew, and then of course wish fulfillment. And so, you know, we just, with the full moon being in Aquarius that we just had only a few days ago, a couple days ago, you know, we're still in that sort of full moon energy. So letting go of all of that doesn't serve us, so that when we're reaching the new moon, we are getting ready to start afresh with, you know, putting forth new intention. So I'm going to read the guidebook for this one here, and then get into the rest of what's currently in my rotation. So let's see, we have current 36. Okay, intention. Every day is a new day, and we begin each day with a clean slate of energy to do whatever we want with. An opportunity to do things to support our well-being, to choose how we want to show up in the world, to live with intention. The new moon is the first phase in the lunar cycle. It represents a new beginning in nature, an energetic clean slate, an opportunity to start anew. Think of it as a mini new year every month, fresh start vibes. And with this fresh start comes an opportunity to set some new intentions in our lives. The new moon card acts as a reminder that we can always start anew, that you are deserving of a fresh start, that you can set intentions to support your well-being, that you can live intentionally. When you pull the new moon card in a reading, reflect on the following. 1. What are some intentions that I would like to set in my life right now? 2. How do I make a point to live intentionally? 3. Is there anything holding me back from living with intention? Affirmation: I am worthy of living a life that aligns with my intentions. Self-care practice: set aside some quiet time for yourself and think about an intention that you would like to set in your life right now that can support your well-being. Your intention can be as big or small as you want it to be. And then think of one thing or a few things, if you'd rather, that you can do to take action toward that intention. Just taking one little step is great too. Be gentle with yourself and go at your own pace. Yes. And I think it's the last line here, the last sentence. Just taking one little step is great too. Be gentle with yourself and go at your own pace. So the idea of, like, as I was sort of talking about earlier, and sort of just reflecting even on my journey to date, and like I said, this past week with Mercury retrograde, with the full moon in Aquarius, all of these things sort of, and the idea of sort of purging, all the pain, trauma, and emotions sort of, surrounding all of that, grief, all of those things that, holding on to all that pain that was no longer serving me and my highest and greatest good. Like, we can do so often, and we, without even realizing it. And, some of the revelations that were sort of coming up for me. And, what I took away from that read is, especially, like I said, the last slide is, moving at your own pace. And so when you've burnt out and you are, and you've been hit hard with burnout, which is the trifecta of, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, all of those things, and sort of all tanking all at once, and then grief one after the another, and the momentum of all that sort of pain and suffering that doesn't let up, and it just it keeps going, and you don't have time to grieve any of it before you're on to the next thing. And so how that took a toll on me personally, or how that can be for anyone for that matter, can be a lot, and a lot that has to purge for healing. And so in my case, what I found is that sort of set my my mind and my body out of alignment. They weren't working at the same pace. One of the things I realized I struggled with, over the past week, and was realizing that something I've been struggling with for a while, is having all of these things in my mind of things that I want to accomplish, things that, I feel that I should be doing because that's what people have told me, and realizing that all of the things that were the brain chatter where that was concerned, that was going on, all of that was programming. All of that were the expectations that were put on me by others, by society, and I allowed that because at the time, I didn't know better. But isn't that something that we all tend to go through? Especially, living in, especially for someone who's neurodivergent, living in a neurotypical sort of society, because that's right. That's just how things are. The world wasn't built for people like me, neurodivergence. Everything pretty much was, made for a cookie cutter sort of standard of people, which is the neurotypicals. So, so when all that burnout sort of, hit me, it really did me in. And, so like I said, I spent a lot of time trying to sort of regain, balance where that was concerned. But my mind and my body still being off and not working with one another. So often, like I said, I would have all this brain chatter and then be stuck. Well, I have this and I have this and I have this to do. And my body is just like, nope, not doing it. And so the friction between, my mind saying we need to do X, Y, and Z. We have to accomplish this. Why aren't we getting up? Why aren't we doing this? Why hasn't this been accomplished yet? Right? And then feeling that strain, that friction of between mind and body and, and spirit. Because my spirit, what I was finding was my spirit was feeling it all. My spirit was feeling, my heart space was feeling the brokenness, and it was heart-wrenching. Because why certain simple tasks can't get done? Because my brain and my body weren't operating on the same page. My body had its own agenda, which was to rest, when my brain had its own agenda, which was to do things, right? And of course, all the added pressure from outside sort of impacted already what was in the mind. And for someone who's neurodivergent, when your brain already does not shut off, all that extra chatter just makes more chatter. And, and all that really did was just throw a wrench, I guess, for me, for my body. Because my body was like, you want me to what? What now? No, not doing it. And that is pretty much what I felt I was dealing with. It was like I was literally trying to drag myself to get certain things done. And it's in the dragging that just made it all that much worse. Because now I was finding myself, needing obligated to perform in a certain way that my body didn't want to do. So that, so the guilt and the shame and all of that came around that, because, I burnt out. I was forced into solitude. And being forced into solitude, when you for the most part are extroverted introvert, and you've sort of been raised to be a people pleaser, you've that sort of your sort of fight trauma response, I should say, because it's neither of those. It's more or less fawning. People pleasing is really the trauma response of fawning, for survival. But realizing that I had to listen to my body. I had to let go of all that chatter that wasn't serving me, that wasn't from me, mostly. And then on top of that, I have my own personal high standards where certain things are concerned. So that just, yeah. But no, now here we are, right? So letting go of the old, letting, and finally feel like you're turning a page that is now a full turn of a page, but because it includes all aspects of self, not just one or the other. So, so I really love that, and why like I said, I love this deck. So, the Cosmic Magic Oracle. So also, since what I've been working also with, and I'll show you the guidebooks here, and I think you would have already seen at least the Oracle of Roses, which is something I've been working with. I even put it away and then pulled it back out, actually. And the Oracle of Roses by Sherilyn Darcy. And I realize now that I love Sherilyn Darcy's cards. I have the Flowers of the Night. I have the Language of Flowers. I have the two little sort of the little affirmation rock pool affirmation cards, if you will. Also by Sherilyn Darcy. And so really loving the Oracle of Roses. And as you can see, I also have Under the Roses Lenormand. So of course it's been a rosy theme, if you will, of flowers and things like that I've been working with in the last several weeks, and even over a couple of months, I would even say, because the Under the Roses Lenormand has been in rotation for quite a bit now, and I haven't let go of that yet. So of course, so still, like I said, so the Oracle of Roses, and then the newer one that's to me that I pulled out to that I recently got and pulled out to work because I was working with Sherilyn Darcy's decks, and I figured, why not? And that's the Green that's the Green Witch Oracle. And I absolutely love this deck, as simple as it is, because, of course, we're looking at everyday sort of vegetables and things from the garden, right? Like that we eat and stuff like that. So we have our earth vegetables, we have our water vegetable or fire herbs, rather. What else? What's the other section? We have water fruits. And is that it? Maybe. Okay, yeah. I think that's all the sections and the earth vegetables. So yeah, and so so giving you a sort of a background, an oracle meaning cultivation, magical correspondences, and and then a little sort of spell, if you will, to go along with the with the vegetable, and how it's used. So kitchen magic, if you will. Yeah, so I've been loving that. Here are the backs of the one second. Just put that back. Here are the backs of the what is it called? The Greenwich Oracle. So yeah, I've been enjoying working with both of those still, and still working with the Rosebud Tarot. This is the one. This is the mass market version of this deck by Harper and Stillwell, and it's published by Wiser Books. And I have been loving working with this deck as well. You know, very sort of collage, if you will, base deck. And of course, yeah, again with the the roses. Ooh. As you can see. So, yeah. Yeah, so that's the Rosebud Tarot. And also I've been working with the Limber Florum Tarot. This is an indie deck. This was a Kickstarter, actually, that I backed a while back. Like, a few years, actually, now, I think. And published by Cosmic Eye. Or created, too, by Cosmic Eye Tarot. So this is pretty much an RWS-based deck. As you can see, it's got the RWS imagery in the middle, but as the image of the card itself of the RWS is small and circular, it's combined with flowers. So this is a Six of Swords with Scotia. I really hope I'm not butchering that, but I probably am. Three of Wands, we have Cypress. 17, the Star, Olive. So I've actually been loving working with this deck. With the flowers, especially too, to go along with the cards. Ten of Pentacles with Lilly. Yeah, so that's been another deck that I've been working with and enjoying that. And it also comes with comes with a little guidebook, little white book, a flower keyword chart, a thank you card, of course, and it was a sticker because, like I said, this was a Kickstarter. So yeah, so I've been working with that as well. And what I've loved pairing it with is an oldie but goodie deck that I had in my collection for a bit, and that's the Botanical Inspirations. This is a US Games publication. Of course, this deck has been around for a while, and I'm sure you've probably seen it on many people's channels, by Lynn Arju. It comes with a illustrator card. It comes with of course, your guidebook with an inspirational message and history about the flower with a poem or a quote, if you will. And then just like the Florium Tarot, it comes with a little sort of pull out flower keyword chart, if you will. But this one's a fold out rather than just a little card. Yeah, so I've been enjoying that as well. Working with that too. And yeah, so and also what you would have seen, the next deck that I have been working with, which I'm not going to show you because if you have seen my latest video, which is the tarot tag, a tarot revolution, you would have seen the Pride Tarot, which I did show off in that video. So I'm not going to really show you that right now. But here's the box real quick again. The Pride Tarot, the collab, and this, if you remember the look of this box, this is also the Sun card in the Tarot of Hearts by Isabel Hayes. Yes, and this is an actual card created by her for the Pride Tarot. And of course, since the Tarot of Hearts is now out, it's definitely the Sun card in the Tarot of Hearts. I don't remember what card this one is featured. If it's the Sun, I think it is the Sun, to be honest with you. But I don't remember. So don't quote me on that. Yeah. So, so there's that. Also, I have been working with the, just going to pull out all the boxes rather, so that I can show you, because I really like their decks, and I have the oracles. This is the Intuit oracles. First, we have the Intuit Oracle, the second edition that I have here. The first one that I had gotten, and that was through Kickstarter, which was the Zodiac 108 Intuit Oracle. And then later they released, but they had a sale at the time, which is how I ended up with the other two, the Intuit Twin Flame Oracle. And this is by Marie or Marla Kelly. This one has, the Twin Flame Oracle has 122 Oracle cards in it, 11 suits, and it does come with crystals as well. Not anymore. Actually, these first editions are the only ones that came with crystals, since they have released other editions. There was the one edition that had like a pull-off top, so it wasn't like this, and it didn't come with the crystals. And then now I believe for their latest campaign that they recently did, they re-released all the decks. Well, the ones that I'm currently speaking of, because they have tarot as well, with keywords and without. They have other oracle cards like angel cards and things like that. Yeah. Sorry, the Zodiac one, the Zodiac 108, of course, is 132 cards, so it's the 108 oracle cards plus another 24. Then this one, the Intuit Oracle second edition, is a 97 base card set with 36 bonus cards, so making it 133 cards. And of course the 122 here for the Intuit Twin Flame one. And they don't come with guidebooks, but they do come with these little pullouts. So of course this one's for the Intuit Twin Flame, the Intuit Oracle, and I guess I showed you the backs. So it just really kind of outlines and gives you a base of all the cards that are included in the deck, but not a description of or anything, because everything that you need is written on the card, and I'll show you the card in a second. So the cards in a second. So here, and this is the Zodiac 108. And I have been loving these decks as well, because like I said, they're very versatile. And I won't show you, because they're basically all relatively the same in format and structure, if you will. So what I will show you is the Intuit Oracle, which is, this one is the second edition. And so just to give you a brief sort of, and I am using it, so of course it's not in order, but you know, all the information you need is on the card itself. So here, like, we have Princess of Water. It's a Pisces card. This one has a bit of timing on it, the ruling planet, and keywords, right? And so just to give you a rundown on what is in this, it's linen cardstock, by the way, so they're actually very easy to shuffle, even with the amount of cards that is in here. And yes, it's a very satisfying shuffle, might I add. Yes. Ooh. I'm going to pull a card from this one just so we can see what happens to come out. All right, and a card from the Intuit Oracle, please. For us, the collective. Oh, we have 7 snake. So this one comes out, we have deception, jealousy, betrayal, backstab, toxic, silent treatment, seduction, sexuality, counterproductive. So of course, you know, as I pick this card and remembering that this is the year of the wood snake. So again, shedding, letting go of all the pain and suffering that doesn't serve our highest and greatest good. So, you know, letting go of toxic people, letting go of, deception, and, the lower vibrational energy, which would include all of these things that is listed here: deception, jealousy, betrayal, backstabbing, toxic, the silent treatment, right? All of these things that are, all of the things in our lives that are counterproductive for our growth, for our success, for our health even, right? Shedding that away and letting go of all that toxicity. So that we can prepare for the upcoming new moon, which happens to be in Virgo. That is coming up, I think, on Virgo season, which is coming up soon, just in maybe a couple of weeks, if that long. Right? So, we want to shed all of this away so that we can prep for the new moon, so that we can now set better intentions for ourselves, for our growth, right? Bring us, more into alignment with ourselves fully. So that means bringing into alignment, on the same page, our mind, body, and spirit. Well, either our mind and our body, so then that way our spirit can be happy, essentially, right? And that we can all be better, loving, high frequency, high vibrational beings, for the betterment of ourselves and one another. So so that's the Intuit Oracle, with also with the other decks. Like I said, the one last but not least deck that I will show you tonight before I wrap up this video is a playing card deck that I just brought out to work with in this rotation, and this is a bicycle playing cards deck. It's Bros Minds playing cards. Now I'll show you why I really like this deck. It's very quirky. It's by four gangs. Or four gangs, the Bros Minds. Let me just double check if that's really their name. I feel like there's a... Okay, here we go. Okay, so have you seen Bros Mind? So in what is probably a world first, Bros Mind, aka Juan and Alejandro Megaro, have been kidnapped by their own creations. In a surprising move, the four gangs turned on their creators during the final stages of the production of this deck of cards. A ransom note demanding $50 was put forward, but no one has been willing to fork up that kind of money for the brothers' release. A dispute over what to do next has led to a war amongst the four gangs, each employing their special skill set to fight one another. Bubblegum, blowing hands, IQ boosting helmets, kick-ass patch girl attitude, and mathematical super wit. If spotted, approach only with extreme caution. Any information on the whereabouts of Bros Mind, please go to www.brosmind.com. So, and then we have a double backer, that extra card that comes too. So, yeah. with the, yeah. So, and of course, the 4 gangs that they're talking about, of course, is the 4 suits of the minor arcana. And so that's why I kind of really, as you can see, I love themes when it comes to cards and well, various things, I should say, rather. But yeah, so, you know, here's the quirkiness of the deck. We have diamonds. Of course, I'm using it, so it's not in order, but here, diamonds, right? Just quickly go through so you can see the, whoops, clubs, spades. Yeah, so those are the 4 gangs, the spades, clubs, hearts, and diamonds. So, and I kind of why I like the idea of using this this deck to play around with, to you know, with divination and, you know, with my readings, is because of, like I said, excuse me, the theme, bro's mind, you know, that sort of to me screams the masculine energy, you know, that flows within all of us. So, you know, so if I'm like, you know, doing a reading and stuff, and I'm pulling cards, and then, you know, I want to get more of a sort of to pull more and understand the masculine energy of things where that is concerned. On, you know, on the reading, I can pull from this deck because that's pretty much the theme. But I mean, it's again, it's not really set in stone. It's set in stone, I should say, rather. It's just, like I said, it's the theme that sort of got me with this deck, if you will. And so, yeah. And so, those are the decks that I have been currently working with, that is currently still in my rotation. So yeah, I hope that you liked my video and my mini reading, you know, throughout. And yeah, so let me know what decks, if you are you know, into divination, and this is, like I said, tarot, but tarot and therapy healing channel, if you will. But if you happen to, you know, work with some of these decks, you have some of these decks, how they've been working for you, will these be some of the decks that you might be, you know, thinking of bringing into your practice. If you already have them and you're working with it, let me know. You know, tell me what you think about the video. And I hope that I do get to see some VRs in response to this tarot tag that I did. Like I said, if you haven't seen, please go check it out. It will be linked probably up in the cards, and of course you can definitely find it in on my channel and in my VR playlist. So yeah, so thank you for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this chat, and like I said, please be sure to check out my other videos on the channel. And yeah, thank you for being here. So as I always say, I am love, and so are you. As I see myself as human, I know you are too. So with all that being said, please remember to take care of yourself and one another. And while you're at it, don't forget about me too. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below. And until we chat again, please always remember to check your privilege, mind your magic, and as always, live, listen, and learn. I love you. Take care, everybody. Bye.